Welcome back, boys and girls, to another episode of Kayfabe Comparisons. My name is Mr. Knowitall, Daniel John Schafer, and today I am joined once again by the king of Kayfabe kickflips, Mr. Wex, breakin and Lawson. Wex, how you living today, bud?
Living pretty good, and want me to be honest, not very good at kickflips, better at like frontside 180 kickflips.
Gotcha.
Not much of a kickflip guy, but I can do some other stuff. Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. That works. It just doesn't.
Technically, it is a type of kickflip. It's a kickflip variation. So there we go. We'll keep it.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, how you feeling on this Black Friday, Wex?
I don't really do any of the Christmas shopping craziness, any of that stuff. So not a big deal for me. I'm not going to be down there trying to fight people for a toaster or anything like that. So
No, not me either. I will not be participating in the retail store craziness. I did order some things on Cyber Wednesday, but I'm just trying to stay ahead of the curve with some two kiddos that I got. Man, did you get any feedback on last week's show?
Last week's show got a little bit of positive feedback from a few people. Actually, a coworker of mine that I told about said they subscribed and they're going to try to learn about wrestling. They don't even watch wrestling. They just said they're down to support the show.
Ooh, I love it. Also, we got to cover an AEW show, and that's always good. It was a hell of a show too. And honestly, if you missed it last week, you should go check it out because 1996 wasn't that bad either. A couple pretty good bangers on there as well. But yeah, that's going to lead to today. Today we are doing a what is it, like a 15-year comparison? It's a Cyber Sunday 2006 going up against Survivor Series 2021 from this past weekend. But before we get to the show, what is going on in the world of wrestling? What's the news? What's the notes? What's the skinny?
Man, we got a lot of stuff going on in the world of wrestling right now. Some good things, some positive news, some negative news, like always. One of the first big things, as you know or you may not know, Kenny Omega relinquished, he vacated his AAA Mega Championship.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know.
And he was supposed to defend it against El Vikingo or whatever the hell his name is, El Vikingo. I don't know. He's really sick, luchador. Got this gothic type Viking weird whatever gimmick, yeah, but he's sick. But he was going to face Kenny Omega originally, but now it's been turned into a three-way match with the Viking guy, versus Samurai Del Sol, a.k.a. the former Kalisto from WWE, and the newly signed AEW talent, Jay Lethal.
Ooh, I very much like that. I'm a very big fan of that. I like that very much.
Very intriguing three-way right there. Not the type of three-way you're thinking about. I know what you guys are talking about. Don't go like that, guys. But hey now, right?
Hey now. What else we have in the world of wrestling?
Some more Ric Flair salty news. Apparently, he really hates Nick Khan, who works for WWE, and that's the only reason that he left. And he still got a good relationship with Vince, but he said he will never, ever work for Khan again because Khan was instrumental in getting him taken off TV. And he says that Khan's trying to erase his legacy.
Oh my goodness.
Which I don't know if that's just Ric Flair being ridiculous, which it probably is, but I guess it makes for a good headline, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's just sad to see at this point, honestly. I want to remember Rick as like woo and good times, and I don't know, bitter old man Rick it's not a good look for him, I don't think.
Well, speaking of bitter old men, just kidding. Jim Ross, actually, some very positive news. He basically posted a picture. He's doing well after his first round of surgery for cancer. Success.
Oh, nice.
He's going to be on. He's as you listen to this, he was on AEW Dynamite this week doing commentary. So he's in there. He's not going to give up, and I think that's fucking awesome. That he's just old man with cancer. Really has no reason. He doesn't need to be out there, but he loves what he does.
Yeah,
I think it's
totally
awesome.
Agree. I totally agree. Did you see the clip of the fan spearing Seth Rollins?
I was going to get into that. I was going to transition. We'll do that. So one more before we get into the WWE news and rumors. This kind of will lead into it. Former WWE diva Summer Rae was spotted at the latest set of Impact tapings.
Ah, okay.
and they're
I
not.
guess that
It
makes
hasn't been
sense.
confirmed if she's wrestling, managing, like what she's doing, or they just have said she was spotted at the tapings, which means she's probably wrestling.
I would imagine she's probably wrestling.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay, we'll see where that goes.
Exactly. She hasn't done anything with wrestling since she left, so that's going to be interesting. We'll move over to the Triple H side of the news because it has some NXT stuff there.
Okay.
Scotty 2 Hotty announced today, or no, not today because this is Friday for you listening, but he announced this week that he's leaving NXT as a trainer.
Yeah.
He said he told himself basically whenever he was just there to collect a paycheck and he wasn't agreeing with the way things were going anymore, he was going to quit. And he said he's got to that point and he's just ready to move on.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like the direction that it's going. And, shout out to Scotty 2 Hotty, one of my all-time favorites. I loved Too Cool as a kid.
I agree.
They were one of my favorite teams. And Triple H, he used to be his baby, his child, NXT, his real baby, his real child, his oldest daughter, who's 15 years old, has announced she started training to wrestle.
Wow. That's something.
I'm
very interested to see what that will end up being like, actually.
Yeah. Is she going to look more like Stephanie, look more like Triple H? Because, the kids always favor one parent over the other.
Right.
What's it going to be? And then, what kind of style is she going to wrestle? Is she going to be like an indie darling?
Ooh, indie darling. I don't know. I don't see that happening. I mean, she's still a McMahon, technically.
Yeah,
so.
Technically. She's still a Mac man. Yeah. And speaking of, like you were talking about that spear, this delusional fan somehow hopped the railing at Raw, got onto the stage, and speared and attacked Seth Rollins.
It's pretty funny, actually. If you haven't seen it, like this dude comes in like
he's a big guy. He's not a small guy at all.
No, yeah, he comes in like full head of steam, bro. Like he was going for that spear. Like, oh man, it was something. It's something to see if you haven't seen the Twitter clip yet.
Yeah, and so the backstory on this, right? Have you looked it up?
I have not.
So this is like this delusional fan who he has like an Instagram page. We might, post a link in the description or some shit. We can link it up or just post it on Twitter later or some shit. He says that Goldberg and Vince McMahon booked him, and he says that his name is something King Fatu, and he's a part of the royal family, and he did it for the bloodline. He did it for the Usos, and like he's like crazy. He like thinks he's like, I have the feud with Colby Lopez and Colby Lopez only. It's my personal beef. I'm not gonna air it out here, but you know what I'm talking about. And turns out he got scammed by an Instagram account that was posing as Seth Rollins that like scammed him out of some money.
Oh my goodness.
And he's already insane because he thinks he's a part of so he's a crazy delusional wrestling fan who got scammed out of a fake account that was posing to be Seth Rollins. And so he attacked him on Raw.
That is beautiful. I don't know if there's anything more pro wrestling than that, honestly.
I know, that's like Carney 99. Like it's probably some fucking other wrestler, like indie, like someone who knows how to take advantage of people like that. That was like, yeah, fucking, I'll do Seth Rollins.
Oh god,
he's like, look, this guy's fucking idiot. He thinks he's a fucking Uso. He literally said in the video, like, and not even like being ironic, like as a joke, he said, "I did it for Rikishi. I did it for The Rock," and I was like,
oh my god, this is crazy.
Oh yeah, I was like, dude, he's just some delusional fan who like thinks he's part of the
storylines,
royal Uso family. Like, yeah, we'll post it like a link of the dude's page on Twitter or something. Like, yeah, you guys got to see this. It's pretty funny. He's out there. The
royal Usos family, man, that's something. That's something. Is there anything else in the news and notes? Or are we ready to get on to today's main event? The only really main thing in the news leads into our second pay-per-view, and we'll just talk about it when it goes to there because it's just kind of funny what happens and what didn't happen, and we'll get to it. I love it. Let's jump on our Wayback Machine. Go back 15 years. We're going to start with WWE Cyber Sunday from 2006. It was a great opening package. This is kind of like the best point of 06 in my opinion. Umaga hits the ring and we vote for his opponent, and of course it's Kane. Speaking of the Uso royal bloodline, it's Umaga versus Kane here. Man, I feel like Umaga would have been an actual Hall of Fame guy if he had been able to kind of keep going. He was really, really good in the ring, and actually this match was way better than I expected it to be. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this match. I mean, Kane's really hit or miss to me. It's similar as The Undertaker, honestly, and I thought this was actually really good for not having like anything worked out and kind of calling it in the ring, so to say. Like, I thought it was a pretty solid opener. I gave it 3.25 beers. Where are you at on this opening match, Umaga versus Kane?
I'm almost right there with you. Like, I definitely thought this was a fun match, and like the story going into this is still when Umaga was on his undefeated streak, and they worked this match good enough where Kane still looked dominant, and then made you think that he might get the victory over Umaga. He might be too much, but they worked it. It was pretty good. Just like you said, I was kind of surprised. I was like, Kane versus Umaga, this is going to be a fucking stinker. But I mean, nice little comeback, decent little match right there. I would have, liked to see Chris Benoit versus Umaga. That, definitely would have been an overall better in-ring match there. But
probably,
man.
You're probably right.
But I mean, Kane still did a pretty good job. I mean, 3 beers for me right there in the middle. Pretty decent match. Like, I was surprised. I was drinking some beers too watching this, which,
always helps.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Couple Modelo's in, for this match.
Yeah, buddy. I love it. Cool. Well, we're about in the same boat on that one. Let's keep it rolling here. We got Sharmell and ECW champion Big Show in the back, and I absolutely love Queen Sharmell and this whole King Booker area. Like, I was really into it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought this whole promo was awesome. And then the match here is Crime Time versus Viscera and Charlie Haas versus the Highlanders versus Cade and Murdoch. And fans voted for the match to be a Texas Tornado. Oh, yeah. So it's really just a hodgepodge of bodies. There's no continuity at all. It's way too much going on. Not even any really big spots even. It was just bad. The best part, hands down, was Crime Time stealing King's laptop at the end. I gave it 1.5 beers. That's about as best I could give it. Where are you at on this weird hodgepodge of tag team ridiculousness?
Yeah, I mean, this was just like literally bullshit. I mean, how can you have a Texas Tornado match with 4 different teams that's going to be coherent that you're going to be able to keep up with? There's just so much shit going on. And dude, I forgot how like cringe Crime Time's gimmick kind of is. These days.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, God, and then King was like, they stole my laptop. Let me make sure they didn't steal my billfold. And I was like, God damn. And then just like the presentation, like, and this was early Crime Time. I think I feel like, did it get better? Or I just remember it differently.
No, it got less comedic and a little more thuggish, which might actually be worse. I'm not sure. But
I don't know, but like
it was never good. It was never a good idea. It was never
like they were both great wrestlers, but like the presentation of the gimmick, like, but like back then I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool, but I was like, this is kind of not.
Yeah, it's pretty cringe at this point, honestly.
Like, he stole my oh my God, they stole my laptop. They're called Crime Time, and they're just.
It's rough. Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
Man, but yeah, I gave it a beer. I mean, there's nothing really you can say about this. It's just Crime Time took advantage. They took advantage at the end, took the opportunity, got the pin. Classic heel move. I mean,
classic heel stuff. Yeah, for sure. It was just a way, I feel like, to get all these guys on the card too. Honestly.
Oh, exactly. Classic. It was like, yep. It's just like, on the other show we're going to cover those. They have one of those matches too. You always got to get those on them WWE pay-per-views.
Yeah. In the back after this, the backstage segment was Sean kind of reenacting that classic laptop gif from the 90s. Then Hunter gets in on it.
So
and
is that King's laptop?
No. It's a different. Okay. It's like an old school 90s laptop. Like, that's why.
I was wondering, like, because he took the laptop, like stole the laptop, and then suddenly Shawn Michaels had one. I was like, did they do some like exchange? Okay.
Yeah, that was poorly planned out, I guess. But no, at least I mean, maybe it was. Maybe you saw some WWE lore that I just missed there. Maybe that's possible. Who knows? Anyway, this is kind of like the child version of DX. I thought it was awesome that Sean Spears is the one that ate the super kick, though.
Yeah,
and then he like gives it to a couple more randos on the way. I loved that. I thought that was great.
What was his name? What did he call it? Was he Chad or what was his name? Stan. Something like that. But I love how he just exaggerates, throws the paper. Yeah,
it was great. It was a good bump. It's crazy to think that like that's how long like Sean Spears was in developmental for that long. Like, that's crazy to think about how we just covered like TakeOver 2016. So that was a decade later. And he had been there just in developmental because essentially, I mean, that's what NXT was too. It's crazy. It's just crazy to think about. But yeah, the next match on the card here is Jeff Hardy versus Carlito for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. This is back when the Intercontinental Championship actually meant something. Yeah, man. What'd you think about this one? Give me your overall on this one.
Dude, another one of those ones that I like, when I looked up at the card, I'm like, Jeff Hardy versus Carlito. And I'm like, all right, whatever. But dude, another good fucking match. Like, and they like, dude, yeah. Carlito was like, dude, they were working that modern style that's like popular today back in 06. Like they started off exchanging holds, back the face off, the kip up, the face off, like,
yeah.
And they were just working like a good, fast-paced athletic match, like hitting lots of sick moves. And Carlito was doing a lot more high flying than I really remember him doing. Like I feel like later in his career he wasn't doing as much, but he was like, keeping right up with Jeff Hardy. Like some very, very stiff shit, like the Swanton bomb that Jeff Hardy hit for the pin. Like
it was very stiff, yeah.
Dude, like he definitely doesn't do it like that anymore. He like, grazes like the upper part of his back, but like that one was a fucking full senton like onto him hard, dude.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good match. Stiff, hard, like athletic, fast paced. I gave it 4 beers. I really enjoyed it. It was like probably one of my favorite matches on the card. Man, I don't know if it's my highest rated, but it might be. Like it was really good.
It's not. Actually, it might be. I think you're right. But I also rated it 4 beers. I was right there. I mean, I agreed. There were a couple setter steps, but the crowd was super into it. Yeah. I mean, the match was really good. There were some really good false finishes in there too.
Oh yeah.
The crowd was super hot for all of it, and the finish was solid too. Like you said, it was really stiff. Yeah, solid match for sure. I mean, better than average. So I went a solid 4 beers on that one as well.
Wow.
I know
we're getting pretty good so far on this one.
Yeah. Rocking and rolling. Let's keep it going. We got a package for Rated RKO versus DX. The package was decent, not great. This was easily the worst version of DX by far. But I mean, it's Triple H, HBK, Edge, and Orton all in the ring together, so I was here for that for sure. And that's what we get. It's DX versus Rated RKO with Eric Bischoff as a special guest referee. And the match was okay. I mean, it was lots of gaga, borderline comedy spots even, like, because they were nostalgic, but these are like older dudes now, and it doesn't, just never, to me, like, once Triple H became the game, it's like that old, like, you can't, unless you're going to go back to the long boy tights, like, there's no way for you to be DX Triple H again. Like, I don't know, it never really clicked with me. But yeah, I mean, also, Orton and Edge at this point hadn't really settled into like being a team yet. I believe this was like the very first time they teamed up. So it did kind of feel like 4 singles guys in a tag match, if that makes sense. And Orton is still pretty green. Edge actually looked kind of winded pretty early on in the match, which was surprising. But all that being said, it was your basic Memphis-style tag match. Shawn took all the heat and sold like a madman. Hunter gets the hot tag and cleans house. Bischoff screws DX. I mean, it's pretty Memphis tag. I mean, so I went right down the middle with it. It did serve its purpose. But yeah, I mean, this is what we do is we nitpick. So if I'm an average fan, I'd say it's a pretty good match, but because, we expect a lot from guys like Shawn and Edge and Orton and Triple H, it was right there in the middle for me, 3 beers. Where are you at on this tag team match, man?
I went a little bit higher than you. I went 3.5 beers, but like literally I have pretty much the same notes. Like it was just classic style tag team match. Like you said, Shawn took all the heat. And they had the classic ref bump and then the other ref, and then Bischoff stops the count because he's the ref, not the replacement ref. Like, classic going for a move, reversing, getting hit by the chair. Like, just so many classic, like, intentional spots. I mean, yeah, it was cool seeing. I guess that was kind of cool to go back and see the debut match of Rated RKO, because the video package before like hyped the match up pretty good and told you the story about why Orton and Edge even were a team, because they didn't like each other initially because he came on his talk show or whatever. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool seeing the debut of the team, because they even like, they weren't even called Rated RKO. They didn't call themselves Rated RKO until the post-match segment when they were leaving. Yeah, they said this is going to be the era, so we're going to make Raw Rated RKO. And I was like, oh, that was like the official first name drop of the group, which was pretty cool to go back and see. But I just went 3.5 beers on this one. Maybe just because it was just that, I don't know, DX. This is literally when I started watching wrestling again, because I didn't watch it for like a couple years. And when DX reunited, I was like, oh, DX is back. Maybe I should watch it. And then, like, this is literally right in the middle of that.
Yeah. I mean, It was okay. It was right down the middle. I feel like the same 4 dudes have had better matches, and I think they do go on to have some better matches. But it looks like we're going to be covering more of 06. Well, at least we're going to be finishing out, maybe even going into 07 with next year coming up. But yeah, then like you already said, there was a promo in the back with Orton and Edge, and I thought the chump stay in line was great. I don't know, I just loved that. I also loved how like Lita comes in and she has a match and they just leave anyway. Like they're like to me, I don't know, that popped me so hard. I was like, wait, like she's going to wrestle for the title, and you're like, all right, we'll see you at the hotel later. Like what? Like what? I don't know, just that one kind of tripped me out. But yeah, the next match here is Mickie James versus Lita for the WWE Women's Championship in a Divas Lumberjack match. Honestly, the match wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I expected an absolute train wreck. So honestly, I think it would have been better without the Lumberjacks. A couple pretty big botches in there that hurt it though.
Oh God.
For sure. But overall, I didn't think it was a bad match. I just thought that it was subpar. So I gave it 2 beers. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't really good. It was below average. So I gave it 2 beers. Where are you on Mickie James versus Lita here?
I mean, one thing that really kind of pissed me off about this match is it was another one of, you had to vote for the stipulation, and the Lumberjills, if you say, or whatever, they all came out to the ring. So you knew what the fuck was going to happen. Like, I'm like, oh, it's going to be the Lumberjacks. Why the fuck would they bring them all out here if they're not going to use them? So that was kind of like, kind of ruined the surprise element of the show, even though I could, look up, I knew what was going to fucking happen, but still, if I'm taking myself back to think if I'm watching it then, I was like, that's kind of lame. And like you said, there were some fucking pretty egregious botches in the match, but like the little ending sequence part was pretty cool the way they set that up. Yeah. So I'll give them that, but I gave it a beer and a quarter.
Beer and a quarter. That's fair. That's fair. I actually thought that the opening of the match was really solid too. There was only honestly, it was like there were 2 big botches, and it was like, but it's like so you have
more than one big.
That's true. That's true. But the rest of the match was really good. Yeah. Like, and so I was like, all right, well, I don't know. I gave it 2. The promo in the back was definitely not good. It was the Spirit Squad. Pretty sure they're kind of getting close to the end of the faction, which is good. And naturally, this promo was just trash because it was what it was. We see, the next match here, man, it's Ric Flair and Roddy Piper versus the Spirit Squad for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Piper being one of 3 legends that were voted on to be Ric Flair's partner. Man, Piper looked awful. I mean,
God,
it was good to see Slaughter and Dusty, but I mean, it's all nostalgia. The match was not good. Kenny and Flair are like the only ones that can actually work, and they really didn't get much time in the ring together. Piper took the brunt of the heat, but he's like just sitting up half the time, like shaking his like shoulders when he gets hit because I guess he just didn't want to lay down. I don't know. Flair got the hot tag and then beat up the whole squad. And then I don't remember them winning, and that kind of popped me. But like, dude, Flair and Piper winning the tag titles, I gave it a full beer just for that. That being said, it's a beer and 3/4 because I was gonna give it just 3/4 of a beer. But I give it a full beer just for seeing Piper and Flair win the titles. I thought that was great. Where are you at on this old man versus young man thing?
Just like you said, they're old. It was a nostalgia pop. I didn't want to shit on it too hard, and it was fun to watch, and it was cool to see when Dusty and Sergeant Slaughter came in post-match and helped and did the beat down or whatever. But yeah, I went 2 beers, just a little bit higher than you. I gave it that full extra.
There you go. That's fair.
Full extra beer, and it's crazy that they won this. And do you know the reason why you don't remember?
Because they lost them like the next night on Raw.
No, because the reason why is because 2 weeks later, they lost him because Piper found out he had cancer, so they had to drop the titles.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, so that's why Piper looked fucking horrible, because he probably had cancer during this match and didn't know.
Well, that's rough. That's let's move on. Let's just keep it rolling here. There was a Booker T and Cena promo, which was easily the best promo on the show. It was super entertaining, super funny.
Dude, I love that. I love
that whole promo was really good. Like,
I love how Booker, he's in the King character, but then like John Cena says something that pisses him off. He just breaks character. He's like, tell me, just goes into classic Booker T, which is just fucking great.
No, I loved it, man. And honestly, dude, I think the King Booker era is very, very, very underrated. I think
I loved it.
Phenomenal character. Yeah, man. The match here is King Booker versus Big Show versus John Cena. And of course, the fans choose to put the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Show looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He is just swollen, like very overweight. But honestly, he worked like a monster. And like he looked like it's weird because like he physically looked bad, but he did not perform poorly. Like, granted, he didn't do a whole lot, but I mean, the opening where he's just a monster, Cena sold like crazy, and it looked great. I did like that Booker just like hung out on the steps the whole time until like they finally knocked Big Show out. I thought that was genius, actually. Yeah, man. I mean, once they take out Show, the match becomes like Cena and Booker, and it was really, really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed the match. Most definitely match of the night. The finish was hot garbage, though. Like, the finish killed the match to me. I mean, absolutely terrible. I mean, it killed the match. Kevin Federline, I mean, I don't know. I mean, even at the height of his fame, to put him, I mean, if you want him on the show for a rating, that's something. Get him involved with like Carlito and Jeff Hardy for the IC title. Get him on the show. If you're putting him in the main event, like title picture, it's just dumb, bad booking. I gave it 2 3/4 beers. Probably would have been like a 4.5, maybe even closer to a 5 beer match had it like had just a straight finish, or even if it had been like, Booker gets the title from Sharmell after a couple of false finishes and nails Cena and he wins. Like, that would have been fine too. Like, I don't know, just the Kevin Federline thing just totally killed it for me. Where are you at on this main event?
I mean, literally, I'm not going to recap everything that you said, but dude, the Kevin Federline thing just fucking ruined everything. And just because, just the fact that it's Kevin Federline, like the way he executed it was so shitty. He just gave the weakest like hit with the title on the back. It was just like so unbelievable, just trash. And like you said, dude, the Big Show looked like shit right here. Like, this was probably the worst he ever looked in his career. His gut was huge.
Yeah.
But like you said, he still worked, still made the match great. I mean, I guess that's why he was the ECW champion at the time, which probably had less value than the Intercontinental Championship at that point. I would say.
Most definitely.
It, no one really gave a fuck about that. And yeah, they worked it up, and like the big drama was there with the STFU applied, and the fucking Kevin Federline to come goddamn ruin the match. Yeah, it really took a lot of the ratings away from me. I gave this 3.75. It could have been a couple beers higher, a beer and a half higher, but dude, that really fucked it up for me. I was just like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, after all that great work that Booker T and John Cena like made you have some fun there at the end.
Yeah. I agree.
God damn it. I mean, even Sharmell took an FU.
Yeah. No, it was, I mean, I think it really just was a poor choice of celebrity interaction too. It's almost like that Jon Stewart thing that happened at a couple SummerSlams ago. It's like, dude,
they could have practiced it better and like, dude, do it like this. Like, go, like, just, it was poorly executed.
The whole thing sucked. I don't even think celebrity. He should have been involved. Yeah. Yeah, he shouldn't have been involved. I mean, even in 8, like, I don't care if, like, okay, so then they have a star like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And then he just hits Dolph Ziggler in a mid-card thing. People remember it. It's a highlight thing. But they wouldn't have put him in the main title picture. Why?
That was executed
Kevin Federline, that should be in the main event.
And Hugh Jackman's punch was executed well. Like, they did a nice working punch. It didn't look horrible. They probably practiced it a little bit.
Probably.
But no, Kevin Federline goes out with the weakest goddamn title shot to the back I've ever seen in my life. Like, and even John Cena didn't even sell it too hard. He just kind of got up and like, kind of like, oh, who is that? But like, dude, fucking weak, fucking trash. That's a TNA. That's a TNA move right there. That's a TNA move.
I agree. Very, very, very TNA-ish of them to do. Overall, the wrestling wasn't bad. The stories were kind of bad, but some of the stories were better and more valuable than, unfortunately, what we have on our next show here. And I feel like this is kind of an opposite case where most of these matches, I'm going to go ahead and say before we even get into it, are bell to bell pretty solid. The problem is the stories. I mean, okay, so I actually had time, like I was like cleaning the house and I had it on. So I had the pre-show on, and they put Nakamura, the Intercontinental Champion,
oh my God,
Damian Priest, the U.S. champion, on the pre-show. And they had Rick Boogs play guitar over the match as a distraction. And it caused the finish, which, of course, was a DQ. This is WWE in 2021. Whoever is booking is doing an awful job. whoever is writing is doing an awful job. And I get, it's a tough job. You don't know what it's like. You haven't been in the. I don't care. I don't care. This is garbage. Like the writing, like these. I'm not even that big of a Priest fan, but come on, dude. Like these guys could have had if you would have just said, hey, you guys got 15 minutes, do what you want. This would have been a lights out banger of a match. Like,
dude, and the way they're trying to book Priest right now, they're trying to do like this like split personality thing because his name is Damien and Priest, and he's good, but he's also evil. And I'm like, dude,
yeah,
get the fuck out of here with that shit.
It's really bad. It's really bad, man. They have like an opening package after the pre-show that ties into Red Notice on Netflix because, of course, it's a Rock movie. Even your opening package is a commercial. Like, are we living in idiocracy now? Is that what's happening now? Or are you about to start seeing like sponsors on like wrestlers' tights? Is that what's going to happen? Like, are we going to see like an all Coca-Cola outfit for like the Street Profits or something? Like,
dude,
I don't know.
We almost we'll get into that later, dude.
We'll get there. The pyro was cool, I guess. The package for Lynch and Flair was decent as well. I agree. What do you think about it?
Say the only reason the pyro was cool is because they didn't have it for a long time. It's really just regular pyro.
It's true. You're totally right. You're totally right. It's totally true, though. The opening match here is Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. And it's a fight. I mean, it's like a fist fight from the jump. Like, they beat the shit out of each other. Like, I mean, that was not there was never a time where I felt like they were pulling their. I mean, for almost 20 minutes, they just beat the shit out of each other. And I think that I personally believe, I don't know, I'm not going to say that I know, but I think that everybody's getting worked. I think that this is a complete work. I think that they are still the best of friends. I think it's genius. I think what they're doing is awesome. I mean, great job selling the angle, guys, because, I mean, this is easily one of the most talked about matches on the card, and it opened the show. And it's most talked about because it was so brutal, and people were like, "Yeah, man, look, see, they really don't like each other." And it's like, man, to me, I think that these women are the epitome of professional wrestling. They're selling you an angle, even in social media, even on like real life type things. And that's what they should do. They should live the gimmick. They should bring some of that suspension of disbelief. I gave it 4.5 beers. I thought it was great. I thought it was executed really well. I don't think the bell-to-bell action was a Matt classic, but again, selling the angle, I think they did a phenomenal job. 4.5 beers. Where are you at on this opener?
I'm not quite as high as you, but I do agree with a lot of stuff that you said. Like, it was stiff, hard-hitting, solid. There was a few little missteps and like some obvious spot calling here or there, but besides that, like, it was fast, hard. It was like there was no like really slowdown. It was just they were just beating the fuck out of each other the whole time. I really enjoyed the classic sharpshooter spot where they're just slapping each other back and forth.
Yeah.
And they were hitting each other pretty hard on some of those. Some of like a few, like when I say missteps, there were a few times when they were hitting each other where it looked like they were like either slipped up or did kind of pull it. But besides that, like the majority of the shots are pretty hard.
Yeah.
And the only thing that really took it out, like Charlotte did a moonsault a few times, kind of at impromptu times. It didn't work for me. That kind of fucked up the action a little bit, and it didn't make sense to really do a moonsault in what they were doing at the time.
Yeah.
The one in the ring was good, like the double moonsault, like that worked for that. But like the couple of the ones to the outside just kind of fucked up the flow of like how hard the match was going. And I love how they both used heel tactics to try to win in the end. But of course, Becky finally wins because even though Becky was kind of working babyface more in the match, like when it came to the end, they both went full heel. And I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. But I went 3.5 beers, just one less than you. It was fucking solid match. It was the only match that I had any interest in that I even thought about going into this because we almost completely forgot about this pay-per-view altogether.
Yeah.
And then once they started saying Charlotte versus Becky, I was like, oh yeah, well they fucking hate each other. This is going to, great. Charlotte versus Becky.
I don't think they do. I mean,
don't. Of course they don't. I'm talking, I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm getting worked with the angle. So I'm just like, feeding into it.
I love it, man. Speaking of feeding in, we got a lot of these little snippets, but the first one is footage of The Rock making his debut 25 years earlier, which you just covered last week. You should go check it out in the archives. And we also got an ad for War Games, which I'm actually getting pretty pumped on. I think I've seen some more stuff on YouTube about it, and I think it feels very much like War Games this year is the black and gold brand versus the new NXT, and I think that there's money there. I think that's cool. So I'm excited to see that. Let's jump into the traditional men's Survivor Series match. I bitched about this last week. I don't like these multi-man elimination tag matches for the most part. But I actually thought this one was pretty entertaining. I thought there were sections of the match that were really, really good. Like Hardy and Rollins was great. Woods and Theory was really good. Even Balor and Sheamus had a good exchange. Nothing was necessarily exceptional. And the work rate was fine, and it was a little too long. These big ass tag team matches just aren't for me. But honestly, for what it was a pretty good match. Also, getting the win, Rollins getting the win gives me the best vibes. So I gave it 3.25 beers, a little bit above average. Okay. Where are you at on it?
Excuse me, sir. I didn't mean to do that. Things happen sometimes, but this match, I expected to hate it as soon as I saw Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss walk out to the ring. I was like, yeah, fuck this shit. I don't want to watch this, but that's some good stuff. Some fun little entertaining moments here and there. I love how Kevin Owens just didn't even do anything. He just left. He got counted out on purpose. And is he walking out on his team or is he walking out on the company? What are they trying to say here? They like to play that shit up. Both. And just like you said, dude, some cool exchanges. Just I like some of the Hardy and Sheamus double team stuff they were doing together, but then it turned in, them fighting each other. Cool little spots here or there. Hardy pretty much got most of the shine in this match, which I think was pretty cool. Yeah. I like how he, got to carry the team there at the end. I went right in the middle with this. 3 beers. Not a horrible match, but not great. But there's no real stakes here. It's just kind of
right.
Raw's better than SmackDown. Red's better than Blue. And this ain't Bloods versus the Crips. This is just guys in tights.
Yeah. Just guys in tights, man. That's pretty much all it was. Let's keep it rolling here. We got a cricket commercial because we're doing commercials on pay-per-views now. And then a recap of Vince with the movie Egg, which is also good, which is essentially just another commercial. And then we get another sample of The Rock at Survivor Series. And then there's a promo with Vince and Reigns, probably eventually building towards Rock versus Roman. But it was actually kind of nonsensical. And Vince talked like this the whole promo, so you could barely hear anything he said. I feel like I had to turn my TV up to 80 to hear Vince speak.
Dude, he's just getting too old. I think he just needs to get the fuck off TV.
I agree. I don't think he should be on TV at all anymore. Speaking of things that shouldn't be on TV, this tag team battle royal should 100% been in the pre-show, and that pre-show match should have been right here at number 3. Unfortunately, we get the tag team battle royal, and it sucked. It was bad. It was so bad that I got up and pooped because it was just I was bored and it was just bad. It does come down to Ricochet and Omos. I don't know. They've somehow made the prize for this battle royal be Pizza Hut too. At this point, I just feel like it's dystopian WWE. We are officially in the Blade Runner version, this post-apocalyptic WWE. It's just awful. It's awful. I gave it negative 1 beer. It was that bad. I gave it negative 1 beer, and it's been a while since I've given a negative beer.
Yeah, you're talking about fucking post-apocalyptic WWE fucking. I think this is kind of the new direction WWE's going with trying to trim down the company, and they're going to do more of these corporate sponsorship deal type. I don't know. I feel like this is the way it's going. And
this is the Biff timeline from Back to the Future. That's what this is like.
Exactly. It's it's that whole Nick Khan thing. Maybe there is some little truth to what Ric Flair was spitting earlier in the news. Maybe Nick Khan is because I heard he's responsible for all the new shit. So it definitely makes sense. So yes, this was the Battle Royale sponsored by Pizza Hut and The Rock. And
Jesus Christ.
It was not good. That literally was the story. AJ Styles was like, all right, Omos, if you win, you get all the pizza. So that's his motivation to beat everybody is he gets the pizza. You get to see Ricochet do a really cool drop kick on him that was real tall and high that I was like, ooh, that's pretty. But then he gets fucking tossed right on out because, no one, WWE don't give a fuck about Ricochet. He's getting wasted over there. And yeah, it's just almost tossing people around for pizza.
Yeah, it's trash.
And goddamn, fuck that egg. Fuck that whole literally this entire pay-per-view.
Who was supposed to even have it? Of course I didn't watch Raw. So who stole it?
Austin Theory is the one who returned it, but they haven't confirmed who stole it. He just returned
Gotcha.
it. But dude, but seriously, is this a worse angle than the gobbledygooker for Survivor Series? Like,
Yeah, I
is
haven't
this
seen
right
Red
up there
Notice
with
yet.
it? Is
So
this right up there with it?
when he got out of the limo and like there's like a crowd of people there just cheering for him and he has the egg, I was like, wait, are they gonna crack another egg at Survivor Series and like Gobbledygooker's gonna wrestle? I would have popped for that. Like I would have popped for that, but no, they're just promoting the
So
Rock's
this
movie
this is
because the
like,
Rock needs promotion at this point. It's not the #1 movie on Netflix, with or without Survivor Series, by the way.
I know, and they're not only promoting the Rock's movie that's on Netflix, a rival streaming service to Peacock that we had to watch this motherfucker on, which I thought was pretty funny.
Truth.
And they're just talking about The Rock, period, this entire pay-per-view. Everything is The Rock this, The Rock that. And we'll get into some more of that here soon. So what's the next match we got on the card?
Next match on the card is the
roll into
Usos versus the RK Bro. Man, I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I thought this match was badass. It's a classic heel face tag match, and it's really good. I mean, Riddle took a hell of an ass whipping and sold like a champ. The crowd popped massively for Orton when he finally got in. I mean, honestly, I've given that guy tons of shit. But on this show, like, and also breaking that pay-per-view record was very cool. The commentary played that up really well. It's cool to kind of see a historic moment play out for sure. And it was a good match. Finish was really good. Solid all the way around. I gave it 4.25 beers. Really, really liked it. I was a very, very big fan of it. What did you think about this tag team match, man?
I mean, yeah, I thought it was a pretty like solid match. You know, Riddle looked strong and he like took a lot of the heat. And like you said, when Orton got that fucking hot tag, everybody popped. It's Orton. He's a legend. And it was cool to see him get that record because, yeah, I mean, I can't really think of anybody. I mean, he's been around since 2002, like steadily, never stopped, never, left, took any hiatus, took any breaks.
Yeah.
Kane held the record, but, Kane eventually had to move on. And I think Orton is going to probably have one of the all-time records because he's still like relatively young. I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. But dude, definitely that finish was super cool. The fucking catch the RKO, even though like fucking Riddle still got destroyed, he still got RKO'd. So it's like 50-50 right there. It's like, you fuck your partner up, but you're still going to get the win because he wasn't the legal man. Yeah, dude. But there's no real build or stakes to this. These are just two fun teams to see face off. And I gave it 3.5 beers, which that's pretty fucking solid for a match with no story. This is like, anytime there's something like this with no stakes, but still good in-ring work, it reminds me of like a PWG match or something. It's just some guys going out there just putting on a good match.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think there's a lot of value there. And this is my hot take of the day, by the way.
Yeah, what's that?
My hot take of the day. I want you guys to write it down because I said it first. Randy Orton will retire in AEW. Mark my words.
All right, we're going to remember that. Black Friday 2021. Daniel made the statement.
Easy to remember. Yep, I did.
That Randall Keith Orton will retire in All Elite Wrestling.
Yep, I really think that's what's going to happen. But then we get another cricket commercial. That's definitely going to happen. And then a DraftKings commercial. And then another clip of The Rock and now another Vince promo with Sonya and Pierce because their egg got stolen. It's garbage. It's really bad. We got a Xia Li vignette, which was very cool. I did like that vignette quite a bit. I thought the cool comic book style was awesome. And I like Xia Li. I think she's a good worker. I think they need to give her a mouthpiece for sure, or just like always show her in like these vignettes and that comic book style thing, which would be cool as well. But yeah, the next match here is the women's Survivor Series tag match. And it's not nearly as good as the multi-man counterpart. It's just lots of stutter steps, lots of awkward timing, bad feeding, bad selling. Not really a very good match at all. The Belair and Banks section was over. But it was also kind of a little hokey with all the kiss my ass spots from Belair. I don't know. It was forever long and it just kind of drug on. It wasn't the worst match on the show, but it was close. I gave it 2.25 beers. Where are you at on this women's elimination tag match?
Man, I was not feeling this. Like leading into this match, I was already in a bad mood because, like you said, we got more commercials, we got more of that fucking egg bullshit. And another thing, this is that new WWE direction. They're on Peacock, so that's why they do commercials in the middle of the pay-per-view. It's like AEW doesn't do that because they're on like real pay-per-view. And why would you put a fucking just let me get into the match. Let me tell you what I think about this fucking match. Okay. if you want to talk about a dead crowd, this is like one of the most. They had no one hooked in. You got CM Punk chants. We got the fucking wave.
Yeah.
They chanted, "We are awesome." Maybe even AEW chants. Could be wrong on that one, but I heard it's like the crowd.
No, there was definitely an AEW chant. There was definitely
the crowd did not give a fuck about this match, and like I understand because it was boring. It wasn't fun. Like you talk about the feeding, the feeding was like horribly obvious in this match.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Like,
yeah,
like
the hurry up and wait spots were just terrible. Like just terrible.
Like my
timing,
my limited training and knowledge knew how fucking horrible this was looking. Like I was like, geez. Yeah. I was not a fan of this match. It was cool that Bianca got to run the table at the end and kind of get the team for Raw. But dude, I could not get into this. Beer and a quarter.
That's fair. That's fair. We also get a commercial for the Wreck and Slam motorcycle toy that absolutely no one ever asked for ever. And then another little clip of The Rock in 2019. And now we have a Heyman promo, which is solid. And then we get a promo package for Bobby Lashley that really led to nothing, which was super weird to me.
And it was really, really long for no reason. Like,
and it was good.
I looked down and looked up, and I was like, dude, this is still going on?
I was like, is this a commercial for like a 24 of his? Are they doing like a one of the, you know what I mean? Like a Peacock special or what would have been like a network special? But it was just, it was nothing.
Dude, they also, remember there was a really weird Drew McIntyre promo earlier in the show too. Anything, and I was just like, what? All right, cool.
Yeah, it was not good. And then we get a commercial for the New Year's Day show, the Day One WWE, which is going to be happening on New Year's Day. We will cover that begrudgingly, but we will cover it. And then we move into the main event here. It's Big E versus Roman Reigns. Listen, I don't understand how people can watch this match and still say that Roman Reigns can't wrestle. I mean, WWE has shit creative these days. I mean, it's really bad, but this match is a great match on any brand, on any show, period. I mean that including MLW or Impact or AEW. This match was really, really, really good. Awesome work by both guys. Some great false finishes. I mean, great false finishes. The entire crowd, I was sold. I literally stood up at one point. This is very rare for me. Like, I really got into this match. And guess what, dude? Yes. Would I have rather had Big E win? Yes. But it's a clean finish. It's a clean finish. No New Day, no Usos, a straight up win. That's the way it always should be for every single pay-per-view. Always. A definitive win.
That's what AEW does for most of their shit. That's why I really like it.
I agree. And interference, DQs, that can add to a story. That can prolong a story. I'm into that. I'm not saying it should always be that way for every pay-per-view match. But for the main event, yes, absolutely, it should be a clean finish. 5 beers. Loved this match. Thought it was really damn good. Definitely my match of the night. And I think my match of this entire show. If you're going to watch one match from any of these shows, Big E versus Roman Reigns was an absolute banger. I loved it. What do you think about this?
All of our matches have been like half a beer, quarter beer, a beer off, but I went 4.75, almost 5 beers.
So we're talking a couple drops here at this point.
Dude, I mean, it was a fantastic match. It started off slow, and it took me a minute to like kind of hook me in, but once they got me hooked in and started like really going for that, hitting like some of the power moves and like start some of those reversals and like just, dude, they really fucking, it was like Big E was just so resilient, like, kicking out of every fucking big move that Roman was hitting. Just like you said, it was just fantastic. One thing that really pissed me off though is, Big E used a Uranagi as like one of his setup moves. So fucking, he comes to go do one, and then Roman Reigns does another Uranagi, like his move. But then they call it as a rock bottom. Like, oh, he messed up a rock bottom there and didn't go all the way down. And I was like, dude,
it's on purpose.
That's I know they did it on purpose because they're trying to sell this whole fucking Rock thing, who, by the way, never showed up for this bullshit. It was just about his fucking egg and his fucking thing. Like,
I mean, he's going to wrestle Roman Reigns. It's going to happen at some point. It's going to happen.
But I'm thinking about the actual story going on between Big E and Roman Reigns right now, and he was doing a Uranagi because Big E does a Uranagi, and they're like, "Oh, that was a rock bottom type move. He just didn't go all the way down. I think he messed up." And I'm like, "Dude, no, he didn't. You're pissing me. Like, I don't know. When commentary's fucked up, that really pisses me off because maybe I do commentary and I enjoy the commentary aspect of pro wrestling. But besides that, dude, everything was great. Like, dude, the whole spear reversal exchangeal, is that even a word?
Exchangeal.
But the whole back spear reversal exchange that they were doing, and then how Roman got finally hit with the big ending, but he's right there under like, dude, their ring placement, the psychology, everything was great. I mean, the commentary would have been just didn't piss me off as much. I could have went 5 beers, but I think that's probably why I took a quarter of beer away. But dude, fantastic match. Like you said, dude, Big E pulling out that muffler stretch. I really love when he does that move. He should do that more often. I think he should win some matches with that because that'd be add that to his repertoire because all he does is the big ending right now as his main finish. Just lots of
benefit from that submission for sure.
Yeah, lots of big power, strength, resilience, just a lot of meat slapping in this match. Good stuff.
But in the best way.
Agree with Daniel. I recommend you should go watch this shit. I posted a little picture on my Instagram story of a little screenshot because, good stuff. Having fun.
Yeah, man. We're having a good time. For sure. I will say that overall, bell to bell, Survivor Series was a much better show, I think. I would say that there were probably more valuable storylines in 06 in the Cyber Sunday show. But I think bell to bell, I think that Survivor Series 21 is a great representation of having a stacked roster that can go in the ring and having terrible creative that ruins it. I mean, literally from top to bottom, there's tons of really good wrestlers on this card, and there's tons of really good wrestling. It's just no one cares.
That was a big part of why TNA, they fucked up for a while and had to, 100%. Rebrand and change up because they had great wrestlers, but some of that booking and story, you're just like, what the
so bad. Yeah, agreed. That's exactly what's happening right now. And it is ironic. It's weird. It's like, because I'm an old man. I am recently 37. And I remember vividly the beginning of the Monday Night Wars. And I was a WWF kid, straight up. Like, I loved WWF. Didn't like WCW that much. Then NWO happened, and I started watching WCW. But in the back of my mind, I always, WWF's the best. They're going to win. They're the better company. It's always been. And they did. And this is the first time ever where I'm like, AEW is the best thing going. I don't care what the ratings say. I mean, and people can, you're a fanboy, whatever. Like, dude, AEW is not perfect. Trust me. Like, if you listen to the show, I shit on them plenty too. I'm not just fanboying.
No wrestling company is gonna be perfect. Honestly,
no, absolutely not. But right now, they're the only brand where I feel like I have to watch their television shows. Like, I like Impact. I think they're great, but I hardly ever watch their shows unless I see a headline or something crazy happen. Then I'll go back and I'll check it out on Twitch or whatever. Same with WWE. Every now and then something cool will happen and you'll have to go back and watch it. NXT has been trash since they got rid of Triple H, really. I mean, it's real bad. So yeah, to me, AEW is inarguably the best part of being a pro wrestling fan right now. I don't know. I have hope. I still have high hopes for WWE. I hope. They're such a juggernaut that, like, of course they're gonna stay in that number one position for a long time. But if they continue to make mistakes like this, it's really going to separate. I think we're gonna start. It's gonna be the difference between like the Power Rangers and MMA. You know what I'm saying? Like, they both have kind of like martial arts, kind of, but one's obviously more suited for adults. And one is obviously more suited for children and toys and advertising and those kind of things.
More like Power Rangers versus like a real violent, bloody kung fu movie.
Yes.
Like, it's gonna be gritty and gnarly, and the Power Rangers, the polished, happy.
Yeah. Bright colors.
Disney versus, I don't know.
Bright colors, sponsored by Pepsi. A huge toy line. See it all over Walmart.
Sponsored by Pepsi. AEW sponsored by a beer company. It's like, something like,
Yeah, of course. And dude, and to be honest with you, man, like, as a wrestling fan and as a guy that like owes, neither one of us would be here without Vincent McMahon. Like, we just wouldn't be here. Like, so I want WWE to be better. I even think that with all the roster cuts, what they still have on their roster, they have tons of amazing talent still that could be doing awesome things.
Don't want to be cynical, but when it comes down to it, just like I can make references, even sports organizations, people like Bud Adams or Al Davis, when they get old, they start making fucking irrational, crazy decisions, and sometimes it's best for them to go away and someone else to take over.
Yes, fully
but
agree.
The right person.
I mean, I really hope it's. I mean,
Shane or Triple H, not Nick Khan.
And sadly, if you believe the rumors, I mean, I will say that after taking the NXT brand away from Triple H is not a good vote of confidence for Triple H being the guy moving forward, which is devastating. Because I do feel like if he were able to run the show, it would be incredible.
I know. That's always in my heart what I thought would happen. Yes. Once Vince dies, Triple H is going to take over.
And it'll be way better. And I still believe to this day, if you let Shawn and Hunter just run WWE, we're good. We're good for the next 20 years.
Yeah, and you need Hunter because Shawn apparently is doing a lot of the NXT 2.0 stuff. So you need
Shawn is not booking any creative at all.
Oh, no booking.
He's not doing any creative at all.
Who's doing the booking? I wonder. Is it Bruce Pritchard?
It's the creative team. It's the writers, Pritchard.
Oh, so they book it all now.
They book all 3 shows now.
That's why it sucks.
He's running it. He's at the gorilla position. He's working with all the wrestlers. He's still
that's why the storylines are just. That's why it seems like main roster diet or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It feels like FCW. Did you ever get to watch like those FCW like tapings of way back when?
I remember watching some FCW matches on like YouTube.
That's what it's like now. It's just they went back to being a developmental. That's all they are. They are just developmental now. This War Games thing to me legitimately is like the final hoorah of like the black and gold brand.
And you know that everybody's
sure Gargano's gone.
Gargano actually, we missed that in the news. He signed a short-term contract extension. So probably
apparently
finish
he tweeted out
dates.
NXT for life, but I don't know if that just means black and gold brand for life and I'm done now, so bye, or like I don't know. But and the cool news is he has a 10-day extension, and I'm pretty sure when you sign those extensions, the same reason why Adam Cole could just go over so quickly is that like there's no more. You don't have to wait a 90-day. You didn't get released, so like as soon as your contract's up, you can go wherever you want.
Yeah, like, pull a Moxley or a Adam Cole or whoever, just walk in wherever you want.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that,
and think about that, we still have not seen Wyndham Rotunda Bray Wyatt appear anywhere yet.
I think he's doing movies now. I think that I saw a news thing.
He's working on a movie, but he's not just going to not wrestle anymore.
I mean, people close to the source say he has no desire to return to wrestling right now. That's what they say. So maybe he's like, I want to make some movies for a little bit and see what happens. And then if it doesn't, I mean, he can always go back to wrestling.
Once his horror movies are not as good as he thinks they're going to be, he'll come back to wrestling. And
what happens if they are, though? Because I've always said that Bray Wyatt's the best actor in professional wrestling that we've ever seen. I think genuinely Bray Wyatt is the best actor that I've ever seen in pro wrestling ever.
Better than The Rock, the Dwayne Johnson?
No, I mean like his care, like
I know,
you know what I mean. Well, yeah, but actually, yeah, yes, I do, yes, actually better than Dwayne Johnson, yes.
Dude, no, who's the best actor in pro wrestling was Luke Gallows, and he was Festus.
It was Zeus.
No, it was Festus. That was the best acting job in wrestling.
Was it? No holds barred. I don't know. Maybe
no, I'm just saying, like, a wrestler acting their character, Festus. When the bell rung.
This was good. Eugene was pretty top notch, I gotta say. And Santina Morella, when she was the Divas champion. That was a good time. That was a good time for pro wrestling.
Yeah.
It wasn't. What else do we have on the schedule here? Let's see. This is this time in the show, and I fumbled the ball here. You know what? Today has been WWE Cyber Sunday 2006 versus WWE Survivor Series 2021. Believe it or not, I'm giving the nod to Survivor Series 2021, and that's purely for the bell to bell. You could argue, though, that there were more compelling storylines in 06, and I wouldn't argue with you there. So which way do you go on this one, Wex?
Honestly, I enjoyed Cyber Sunday more.
Did you? Wow. Okay. So we got
actually watching the show from top to bottom. I had a better time watching Cyber Sunday, even though that Roman Reigns and Big E match was really good. I don't think that's enough to sway me over there because that egg shit pissed me off. Like I was genuinely like slightly irritated, like watching Survivor Series and Cyber Sunday. I was, maybe had enough. If I would have had more beers on Survivor Series, maybe I would have swayed my vote a little bit. But I was like about 6-pack deep by the time I was done with Cyber Sunday, and it was a good time. I'm thinking about maybe when we get some more stuff on the docket, try to do some watch-alongs to some of these shows that we're going to cover.
Ooh, I like that. Or maybe even just like watch-alongs to the main events. So they're not so because watch-alongs are like forever long.
Oh, just do them for fun with people and then post videos of just maybe a few of the matches.
Oh, yeah. We could do
just
that.
For fun, because these shows are way more fun when I'm drinking and having fun watching it instead of just by myself, like just watching one match. So, maybe on like a weeknight or Monday or a Tuesday, I'll be like, hey, who wants to get on here and watch whatever pay-per-view? And if we have some funny clips that can come out of it, maybe make some YouTube stuff.
Yeah, and if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, if we can get up to enough YouTube subscribers, then we can actually just go live, and you could be doing those live. And then you could watch them post or whatever, but we could kind of advertise. You can come hang out with us, send us some comments. That'd be very cool. Next week is a very odd show. It's going to be very interesting. I'm very excited about it. It's this Tuesday in Texas from 1991 going up against December to Dismember, which I believe is also from 06, is it not?
It is. It's the December pay-per-view. It's the only original ECW pay-per-view besides the two one-night stand things, WWE ECW, and we're going to get to see old fat Big Show in all his glory because he's the ECW champion at this time, and man, and this is one of those legendary bad ones that we're going to be able to like make fun of. Maybe we'll get surprised. Maybe there'll be some fucking sick matches that we didn't know about because it's such a legendary bad show. Maybe there's a hidden gem in there or two in there.
I do feel like Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart is on this 91 show, and I feel like it's a banger.
Oh,
I could be completely wrong. But I feel like it's right. Or maybe it's Shawn and Perfect.
And it's Shawn, because this Tuesday in Texas, the only reason I know about this is it was mentioned on a Shawn DVD that I have.
Okay.
So that's why I remember that. I was like, oh, shit, that was the one Tuesday pay-per-view they did to try to just see if Tuesday pay-per-views would catch on, which obviously they didn't. No one's going to order a fucking Tuesday pay-per-view. Come on now. Let's get real.
Yeah, TNA. So we're going to keep going here. We are going to be wrapping up. This is our last show from 2001, that part of the Attitude Era. It's our last show here. It's going to be Vengeance 01 versus the Black and Gold brand versus NXT 2.0 at NXT War Games 2021. Rumor also has it that this is going to be the last NXT Peacock special they do. Any other specials, quote unquote, they do will be just regular TV specials on USA or wherever they're airing.
So this is like the actual final takeover.
Yes. This is like the final takeover, I would say, which is, So I'm a little nostalgic about it. Also, Vengeance 01. Come on. Vengeance 01 is a massive show.
That's literally one of my all-time favorite shows. So much stuff that happens in there. And really, like I said, the next night on Raw is really what kicks it off and some of the best stuff ever. But, dude, that's a historical show. Jericho makes history.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy. I'm excited about it. The following week is the last ever Ring of Honor show, probably. It's going to be Ring of Honor Final Battle. We're going to try to find a way to watch that one together, I think, if we can make that happen.
Try to order it on Fight TV or whatever the fuck it's going to be.
Yeah. I'll go hang out over there. You come over here, whatever. And that's going to be going up against Armageddon 2006. So we'll get to see the progression more of the storylines there in 06. And I'm pretty excited about that as well. Speaking of other timelines that we've kind of been following, the following week, which is the last show before Christmas, is going to be Starrcade 96. It's WCW's last pay-per-view from 96 going up against Survivor Series 06. So we'll be able to keep
Is that live from Nashville, Tennessee?
I believe it is, my good sir. I believe it is. Yeah, man. And then, obviously the very last show of the year I think comes out on the 30th or something like that, right before. So we'll be doing, we're going to be kind of dabbling with the format, but it's essentially going to be a year in review, a recap of 2021, the hits, the misses.
Favorites are not so favorites.
Yeah. And in between that time, me and Wex here are going to get together and try to figure out a new, what we're going to do for season 4. We're going to be moving into a new year. Obviously, we're going to still be bringing you some nostalgia shows. We're still going to be bringing you the best of current wrestling as well. But on those in-between shows, maybe a little less double nostalgia shows, and maybe we'll start doing a little more of the lists, or maybe some more indie spotlights. Maybe we'll just focus. Yeah, maybe some trivia. Those are always good. I love getting KG Cast on in here as well.
We get some special guests on the next one, like old Nick Iggy or somebody like that.
That would be awesome. I would love to have Nick Iggy on a trivia show. That'd be great. Love to get Carrie Awful on here too. Maybe we can get the whole Carney
maybe
team.
we can have a Carney's reunion on the trivia show.
That would be sick. I really feel like that would be super fun.
We can't see them in the ring together, but we'd like to see them, tag team on some trivia.
It would be cool. Especially if we got cast to host and it was like kayfabe comparisons versus the Carneys.
Dude.
Trivia match.
That'd be a fun one.
It would be a good one. We got a lot of cool ideas, though. You can always find the show at kayfabe.com everywhere on the socials, except for TikTok. And we've both been lax on it. It's been a couple weeks now. I'm going to try to get on there and talk a little bit about Big E and Roman Reigns at the Survivor Series. This week, though, our TikTok is at kayfabe.com/pod. You can always find me at Daniel Daybreak wherever you find social media stuff. And be sure to go to YouTube and subscribe there. We're going to be doing a lot more content there, thanks to Wex, breakin, Lawson. He has a little bit more YouTube expertise, a little more ring time in the old YouTube. So he's been the one championing that.
Just a little bit.
Wex, give him the script, baby. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can always find your boy at Wex, breakin the Lawson on pretty much every little social media platform that you can find. And just like Daniel said, get on that YouTube channel. Check out. We're going to be putting some more clips, more stuff on there. Subscribe. Go, comment, like, download the show. Give us good ratings. Damn it. I mean, unless we suck, then you can send us a private message talking about how shitty we are and how you're going to come to our house and fight us. And I'm just going to be like, man, this guy sucks. But, I'm still going to do the podcast. So.
Well, I'm part of the USO bloodline, and I got hired by Vince McMahon.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm like, kind of the rabbit hole that I'm going down there, because I'm part of the royal elite bloodline. I'm going to attack Brandon Cutler on Dynamite when they come to Nashville.
Well, we did it for The Rock. We did it for the people. We did it for Rikishi.
I did it for The Rock. And that's a 2001 storyline that I remember so vividly. Like, I can remember watching that on TV live, because good times.
Oh, good times. You know what? We'll see you guys next week. We're out. Peace.
Peace.